Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the kitchen. Today we're going to be making an pasta with an eggplant caponade kind of on it. So we're going to use some eggplant, some cherry tomatoes, some capers, some fresh basil, lots of stuff that is coming up in the garden right now. It's all fresh. Well, fairness, not my garden, my neighbor's garden. They're really awesome. I love my neighbors. That's super. So, check it out. I'm going to start with this eggplant here. Now, if you remember our conversation about eggplants, this is a female eggplant, so this would indicate that it has more seeds. Now, if it was a male eggplant, the mark here in the bottom would be more of a dot as opposed to a dash. And the female eggplants have more seeds in them, and just it sounds a little bit more hollow. That doesn't necessarily mean that's the case, but let's find out. So as you see right here, there's a lot of seeds you can actually even see through, which is not a bad thing. It just means that this is not the eggplant that you want to be making eggplant parmesan out of. You want to be roasting it, doing baba ganoush and things like that, where you're going to chop up the eggplant. We like all the eggplant. It's just, you want to know what type of eggplant you should use and what you should make. So I saw this one, I instantly thought of making something like this. So I got some big slices here. I have my flat top all warmed up. I'm going to take some olive oil, get her on there, and we're just going to ease these in here. Alright. Alright, get them seasoned a little bit. Some salt. Some fresh cracked pepper. Give it a little bit of paprika in there. And a little bit of my seasoning here, which has garlic powder, fine garlic powder, and Italian seasoning and such. I'm just going to put a little bit of extra virgin olive oil on top of them as well. Use my squeeze bottle so I have a little bit more control. And I'm just going to let these cook and roast. You could do these on the barbecue grill just the same. I'm going to let these cook until they're good and roasted. I mean, 10, 15 minutes aside. Just take your time. Sit back, crack open a cold one, and check on them in a little bit. And we'll be back in just a second. Alright, some of our other ingredients. So I got from the neighbor these beautiful cherry tomatoes. And all I did is make sure all the stems are gone. And then the other thing I'm going to use is some red onion. I'm thinking of this more as almost a sweet sauce. We're not going to add any sugar, but between the caramelization that ends up on the eggplant and the onions already being sweet, I'm thinking sweet, and then I'm going to use some capers to provide a little bit of salt and maybe some balsamic vinegar at the end of the sauce to give it a little bit of astringency. But we'll see how it works out. That's the beauty of cooking. So I got one small red onion, rough chopped up. I got a good cup and a half of cherry tomatoes. Okay, a cup and 7/16. And the eggplant working. So it's going to do its thing, and then when I'm ready to put together the sauce, I'll bring it back. Eggplant's ready to roll, so let's make the rest of this. I take my cherry tomatoes, I'm just going to put them right on the flat top. All I want to do is let these grill and blister and pop a little bit. Not really even looking to cook them. Now with our onions, we want to get them going a little bit. So I'm just going to take them and throw them right on. We're going to chop up our eggplant. Just a rough chop, just going to use my bench scraper for that. We're going to bring all these flavors together. Now I'm going to save some of this roasting mix for later. I'll probably make this sauce again. So this way half my prep's done. So now to make one portion of it, I have some olive oil back here. Turn off the heat of my flat top. Put some garlic in. Put in some capers. I have about a tablespoon and a half of capers. And I'm going to get that going. Going to turn up the heat. Nice and big. This will be 2 servings. I'll save one for later. There we go. That's starting to look happy. Now we're going to make our pasta. I had some leftover fresh pasta which I had frozen. I was going to make lasagna, but I took it out, and what I did with it is I just kind of ripped it up by hand, and it's going to give you a nice little, almost Pennsylvania Dutch style noodles here. Just going to drop them in there, let them cook. It's going to be a good example that a pasta dish doesn't have to be just pasta. You put a lot of ingredients into it and make it delicious. Okay. So we have our tapenade sauce getting done here. Our noodles are getting ready to be done. They're floating up here. And this is really starting to look good. So the eggplant's broken down because we chopped it up. It's its own little relish now, basically, with the tomatoes. So it took a minute to get where I wanted to get, but I got there. And that's what you get with me. You get straight up honesty. This is, you know, I drew this up a little different than the way it's going, but it's going to be fine. Alright, noodles are done. Go grab them out of here. Toss them in. Gonna put it right in with the pasta water. Give it a little bit of moisture. I think it probably wants a little bit more. It's going to go right in there. Alright, now we're going to bring it together. Let it cook, let it finish cooking. Work those noodles into that tapenade. Alright, now we're going to close the heat. Just knock it back to low. And we're going to finish this with a whole bunch of fresh basil. Right out of the garden. Just going to rip it up. Big pieces. Rustic, honest food. This is unpretentious, real eats. Alright, let me get this on a plate for you guys. Got our pasta plate here. Gonna grab some of these noodles. It's gonna have a nice, rich, big flavor. It's really good just like that. But what would it be without some fresh Grana Padano on top? Alright, and there you go. Fresh eggplant pasta. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy.